rupturing. The internet is currently in a complete breakdown. Additionally, there are rumors that Toni Braxton, yes, the Toni Braxton kicked her own sister to wander off the family show, which could be the most explosive Braxton family twist in years. Additionally, Tamar's name is suddenly getting brought up in a complex situation involving $50,000. Nobody anticipated this. We've been witnessing the Braxton sisters' arguments, tears, reconciliation, and reconstruction for years. Family therapy sessions, public breakdowns, emotional walk-offs, and contract disagreements have all been witnessed. It feels different, though. This seems to be it. Rumor has it that a contentious behind-the-scenes dispute during discussions over the family's upcoming project altered all things. They exchanged words. The plan abruptly stopped include Towanda when accusations were made. Here's where it gets crazy, though. Fans are now thinking that this breakdown might be connected to a financial problem that Tamar may have quietly questioned months ago, involving a lost $50,000. Was there a miscommunication, a problem with the papers, or something more serious? Social network investigators are retrieving past interviews. Screenshots of mysterious posts are making the rounds. Music Instagram stories that were removed have reappeared. And in real time, every little detail is being examined. Toni wrote a post about preserving harmony. Tamar has been mute while Ta has made references to loyalty. And it's a loud silence. Is money control at play here? Finally, long-standing animosity erupted. Is there something more significant taking place behind closed doors? Because the Braxton family dynamic might be irrevocably altered if Toni actually took this action. Additionally, believe me, the twist. You're not prepared for the connection between all of this. You must first grasp one thing in order to comprehend why this rumor is causing the internet to go crazy. The Braxtons are a business as well as a family. Toni Braxton, the Grammy-winning behemoth whose voice defined an era, is at the heart of it all. Toni's legacy went far beyond music, from Unbreak My Heart to decades of chart domination. She became the Braxton brand's cornerstone. When Braxton Family Values debuted in 2011, however, everything changed. All of a sudden, people were not only observing Toni, they were observing Tracy, Tamar, and Katrina. And attractiveness wasn't what made the show compulsive. It was tense, genuine conflict, sibling rivalry, emotional breakdowns, contract difficulties, and financial disagreements. The therapy sessions were too unfiltered for broadcast. There were layers in the dynamic from the start. Toni was a worldwide celebrity, well-groomed, quiet, and astute. Tamar was vivacious, humorous, erratic, aspirational, and ultimately a rising celebrity in her own right, for she positioned herself as the mediator, the glue, the soothing voice, and the person who attempted to prevent Tamar and Toni from blowing up. However, this is what people overlook. Even mediators have their limitations. We saw the sisters fight about money on several occasions throughout the years. In numerous interviews, Toni has freely acknowledged that it is risky to combine family and money. There have also been public contract disagreements with the network, filming pauses, collective walkouts, and discussions that almost completely shut down the show. She has discussed filing for bankruptcy, being the main source of income at times, and feeling under pressure to support more than just her own profession are the topics of discussion. In the meantime, Tamar's connection to the family brand grew more nuanced. Tamar started publicly expressing her dissatisfaction with contracts, loyalty, and fairness after starting her own successful initiatives, such as her time on daytime television. She left the 2020 show was tumultuous, sentimental, and widely reported. The family's energy was shattered in that instant. Despite subsequent public reconciliations, group photographs, holiday get-togethers, and healing interviews, something always felt brittle, particularly in relation to money. Because the painful reality is here. Reality TV is more than simply drama. It generates income streams, appearance fees, back-end percentages, and executive producer credits, all of which are significant when a franchise has been operating for more than 10 years. Although Towanda is frequently seen as less glamorous than Tamar and less well-known worldwide than Toni, sources have long said that she was heavily involved in the show's behind-the-scenes talks and logistics, which makes this purported split even more unexpected. Because if Toni truly decided to cut out of the next version of the family project, it means that something significant changed and that people began to notice the hints months ago. Posts about respect being non-negotiable are subtle. Toni emphasizes serenity over pandemonium in interviews. During a podcast appearance, Tamar stated, "I've learned that you have to read the fine print, even with family." At the time, the remarks seemed universal. They seem pointed to me now. Remember, this family has weathered marital controversies, health scares, and public bankruptcy headlines. A highly visible emotional crisis. They came together in mourning in 2022 when their sister Tracy passed away, and a lot of admirers thought that long-standing scars had been healed by tragedy. On the surface, everything appeared stable, which is why the current scenario feels so unsettling. There were rumors of a comeback, discussions about upcoming initiatives, and collaborative appearances that suggested a new phase. How did the enthusiasm for the reunion turn into the purported removal? Tensions reportedly erupted during pre-production talks, particularly those about the allocation of revenues from previous endeavors and the structuring of future profits, according to sources close to entertainment bloggers. At that point, Tamar's name came up once more. Online rumors claimed that during a prior joint transaction, Tamar had previously quietly voiced concerns regarding money owing. Concerns just. No formal charges, no proven theft. But in a family that is already sensitive to financial transparency, worries can come across as charges. Furthermore, accusations made within a company can feel like betrayal, which brings us full circle to Toni. Toni has consistently shown herself to be calculated, protective, and strategic. Previously, she has claimed that sometimes having to make tough choices, even with family, is necessary to keep her calm. Therefore, would she step in if she thought that persistent financial strain may endanger a new project? Would she put business before her own life? Or is that story too straightforward? Because the larger question is this: does this truly amount to $50,000? Is that number only a metaphor for anything more profound? Years of accumulated mistrust, unsolved animosity, and unhealed financial scars. This is the point at which the intensity increases. Accountability was the word that changed everything, according to fan speculation and blog murmurs, at a meeting that took place behind closed doors because the purported tipping point wasn't public. It's possible that the family dynamic changed permanently after that term entered the conversation. But wait, because Towanda was the one who made the first public crack, not Toni. And this whole thing went into overdrive because of the post she shared and subsequently removed. Everything erupts at this point since, up until now, there had only been rumors, whispers, and subtweets. However, Towanda later shared that message. When money is involved, it's funny how family gatherings may devolve into accusations. No names, no justification, but suspicious timing. It was screen captured by fan pages within minutes. It appeared on every gossip blog within hours. Suddenly, the question shifted from "is there tension?" to what happened in that meeting. According to sources, the meeting was related to reorganizing the impending family project, perhaps a renaissance rooted in the Braxton family's heritage. And if that's the case, this was more than a sisterly dispute. This discussion was at the level of a boardroom. Towanda then posted another post in response. When the money changes, loyalty shouldn't. That one vanished even more quickly, but the harm was already done, since supporters began removing threads. The resurfacing of old interviews included a footage of Tamar saying, "Even with people you love, I always check the paperwork," from years ago. Overnight, the video went viral once more, which is when the $50,000 figure began to circulate. Let's pause now. Towanda's theft of Tamar's money has not been confirmed by the public. Nothing. Here's how the rumor got out of control. According to a fan account, Tamar mentioned being shorted by roughly $50 at a private queue and a session months ago. 50, what did she not clarify? $500,000? Half. It was unclear. However, the internet filled in the gaps, and once that story took off, it spread quickly. The comment sections blew up. When Toni learned about it, he cut her off. This relates to Tamar's finances. Towanda acted innocent all the time. It become hideous. Then Toni posted a stunning picture with the comment, "Peace is better than chaos." Simply put, but it felt strategic in the midst of an impending storm. She was answering without answering. Next came the initial twist. According to an entertainment blogger with purported production connections, the dispute had nothing to do with money theft. It concerned the division of future profits and accounting transparency related to prior joint ventures. Because there is a distinction between disputed documentation and larceny that alters everything. That blogger claims that during new contract discussions, Tamar's prior worries about money distribution reappeared, which allegedly prompted a more thorough examination of previous financial breakdowns. She apparently requested that everything be made clear before proceeding, according to Toni. Consider that now. If you're starting over, the last thing you need is financial confusion for a family brand that has already weathered public contract disputes. So, is Toni's desire for openness, leadership, or betrayal? This is where it gets worse, though. There was a mediator present during talks, according to another insider. Sisters are in need of mediation regarding show contracts. This implies that it wasn't a trivial issue. Then Toni made an appearance at a live speaking event and made a statement that caused controversy. Growth necessitates difficult choices. Not miscommunications or misunderstandings, but difficult choices. Fans took that as confirmation right away. Tu, meanwhile, was silent for a full day. Then she liked a tweet that said, "When the truth is inconvenient, scapegoats are chosen." In an instant, Team Tu was established. The internet was divided. Now, she is the eldest, the executive brain, and the one preserving the legacy that Toni Braxton established decades ago, according to Team Toni. Additionally, Team Towanda claimed that she is being forced to clear up someone else's story, and Tamar remained mute. But this is where energy changes once more. A video of Tamar and Towanda fighting about money from a previous reunion program has surfaced. "I don't play about my money," Tamar declares. At the time, the tension seemed to be typical of reality TV. The feeling is prophetic now. And it's not even the most absurd aspect. Since when? A fan saw something odd when the trailer for the new Braxton project was released. There was hardly any screen time for Towanda, just 2 seconds in a group shot, no confessionals, and no solo voiceover. The idea that she had been demoted or stripped of a major position was stoked by that edit, which screamed intentionality. The true surge of stress then occurred. According to a well-known podcast presenter, the revival's contracts had a requirement for unanimous financial transparency audits amongst family members at the executive level. If that's the case, someone might have raised an objection or been questioned, and asking relatives financial questions. That strikes a distinct note, since it suggests skepticism, which undermines trust. Fans are now wondering if a review was prompted by Tamar's previous worries. Was there conflict between Towanda and that review? Is this a business dispute that the internet is exaggerating? Or did Toni support one sister over another? But this is the psychological aspect that nobody discusses. Tamar was portrayed for years as the passionate, sentimental, and evasive character. She's quiet now, serene, watching, and wondering. Suddenly, the cool-headed mediator becomes the focus of debate. And because perception is what drives narrative, that role reversal is potent. Then a subtle thing took place. Toni's post about calm above chaos was appealing to Tamar. A digital earthquake was sparked by just one like. Was that coincidence, alignment, shade, or support? Fans took notice of Tu's disapproval. The radio went silent. In celebrity culture, that usually means one thing: no joint family appearances, no explanations, and no denials. Attorneys are engaged. And if solicitors are involved, this isn't just drama on Instagram. This is strategic, contractual, and possibly legal. But this is when the level of stress peaks. A blogger was supposedly informed by an unnamed source that the problem was not with the past. The topic was control over the future. Future control refers to the financial influence of the person with executive authority over the show. And it might make sense if Toni chose to consolidate his authority in order to stabilize the brand. However, it also makes the largest query of all. Did she back down after being questioned, or was she genuinely removed? Since the two tales are so dissimilar. Furthermore, there is still no official confirmation of the truth. There is no denying, though, that the Braxton brand, once associated with boisterous confrontations and heartfelt embraces, now seems colder, more calculating, and more split. And this may really blow out if Tamar chooses to say something, because the whole story turns upside down if she validates even a small portion of the $50,000 rumor or denies it entirely. However, we are currently observing quiet, intentional quiet, which may have been the loudest action of all. Just when people assumed this would finish in a few days, it quickly got out of control and began trending on several media. Hashtag Team Towanda Toni did Braxton money turmoil. TikTok developers started piecing together earlier reunion videos, and YouTube critics began analyzing the body language of previous interviews. The result was a forensic audit-like map of the Braxton brand's entire financial history. Snorts, this was more than rumors. A cultural autopsy was conducted. Carefully taking it up, entertainment bloggers started using terms like reported financial anxiety and claimed internal turmoil. Nobody corroborated a theft story explicitly, but everyone agreed that something was obviously wrong. Then podcasters had their say. It's rarely about one check when family businesses fail. It's about power, a media personality stated. The energy altered with that word. Furthermore, because we're looking at something considerably larger, if this is about control over the franchise's future, rather just $50,000. Braxton Family Values ran for years. In case you forgot, that includes back-end revenue systems that most fans never consider, overseas licensing, syndication, money, and streaming deals. Those back-end divides are important if the revival is being negotiated. Additionally, insiders say that before contracts were signed, a more thorough financial analysis was asked for at pre-production meetings. Asked by whom? It is where speculation erupts. Some admirers think it was brought on by Tamar's previous worries. Others think Toni, the most well-known brand anchor, insisted on it to ensure long-term survival. Here's the startling revelation that made things go into overdrive though. According to a blogger, an unnamed source claimed that the contested $50,000 wasn't even recent. It might have had something to do with an earlier joint appearance package. A packaged agreement that involved several sisters and allegedly had an equal payment distribution because of management practices at the time. It is more of a who trusted who problem than a who took what won. As if that is the case, it may be an old wound reopening during new negotiations. Trust concerns inside a public family, however. That's gold for ratings. Here's where the temperature drops. There was utter silence. Towanda. Nothing, no mysterious captions, no Instagram lives. Toni, meanwhile, uploaded another message. Liberty comes from clarity, precision. That word had a surgical, emotionless, and calculating and reactive. And supporters instantly saw it as proof that a financial explanation had taken place behind the scenes. Next, the Tamar element. Tamar shared a completely unrelated glam photo with the remark, "Healing looks good on me," after days of silence. There was no mention of trouble or family, but the timing seemed off. Did she say that she was above it? Did she indicate that she was at ease? Or was she silently observing, watching others fight? Because here's the thing, Tamar has previously expressed in public that she felt abandoned when company conflicts arose. If this circumstance in any way confirms her earlier worries, then alters her whole storyline. She's right. She's suddenly not dramatic, and that change would be profound. This is when the stakes are higher than just gossip. Industry experts started to comment. Only one entertainment attorney stated on a radio program that networks frequently demand independent audits before approving significant revivals if financial transparency issues arise during contract renegotiations. The word audit struck close to home because it implies a close examination of the documentation. In a family business, examining documentation is also a personal matter. The teaser trailer followed. Fans saw something different when they slowed it down frame by frame. Towanda might not have taped new solo sequences because her confessionals seemed to be taken from outdated, potentially reused material. Did she disappear during manufacturing, or was she cut down? Nothing formal, just more silence. And quiet during a famous crisis. Typically, PR can signify one of two things. Attorneys are examining statements. Renegotiated contracts are being negotiated. In any event, this is no longer a trivial social media dispute. This option is for preserving the brand. Since Toni Braxton has, let's face it, spent decades defending her reputation. Her experiences with public financial hardships and health issues have shown her how swiftly narratives spiral. She would take calculated action if something did not seem to be upholding the integrity of a comeback. However, family optics becomes another issue as a result. Because the internet perceives treachery and betrayal sells, even if this is only contractual. Influencer commentators are divided in the interim. They say Towanda should be given an opportunity to explain. Some claim that Toni is only making executive choices. Additionally, there is a notion that is becoming more and more popular on the internet that suggests that the whole scenario could be partly caused by unresolved sadness for their sister Tracy's death. A lot of viewers thought the family bonded better